The last drum of Tula village. The drums of Tula village were made by skilled builders. Their craft perfected over many generations. During prayers and village ceremonies, the rhythmic beat of the drum enchanted all who heard it. To every beat, children danced barefoot. Elders narrated stories. Families prayed for good fortune. Ruth came from a family of drum builders. She learned all about drum from her father, and from her grandmother Sefa, she learned the old prayers. The drummers were more than musicians, they were storytellers, timekeepers, and guardians of the village traditions. One day, she heard a strange melody wafting through the village. It was light and airy, like wind whispering through the trees. Ruth was curious, as were other villagers. They had never heard this sound before. They followed the sound to the edge of the village, where some men were playing flutes. Ruth noticed that the flutes were shiny and colorful. The men said they had come from faraway lands to spread the love of music in Tula village. They gave new flutes to everyone. The biggest and brightest one was given to the village chief. Ruth's was purple, her favorite color. The men were welcomed into the village and invited to attend the evening prayers, where they played their flutes to the beat of the drums. Everything was happy and joyful. But a few days later, the mood shifted. At evening prayers, the visitors said, "The drums are too loud. You should play them softly." The next night, the visitor said, "The music is nicer when the flutes can play without the pounding drums." Some villagers grew quiet, others grew angry. Ruth started to hear unfriendly whispers wherever she went. The drum builders kept secret. A shopkeeper grumbled. "Why should they be the only ones to make music?" A customer frowned. Some of the drummers became afraid to play at evening prayers. They hid their drums away. Ruth wondered how everything had changed so fast. She missed the sound of the drum and the joyful celebration of the people in her village. How did Tula village forget so easily? She wished she could make everyone remember the way it used to be. One night, Ruth dreamed that she was beating the most majestic and ornate drum she had ever seen. She woke up feeling happy, something she hadn't felt in a long time. When she told her grandmother Sefa, she said, "Our legends say that an ancient drum is hidden in the house of worship." Ruth felt a glow in her heart. Could it be the same one she saw in her dreams?
That night, Ruth and her friends, young drum builders like herself, met in the secret. Together, they made a daring plan to find the ancient drum of Tula village. They painted stars on their palms, an old symbol for truth, before heading to the house of worship. They walked through many rooms. In the farthest one, they found what they were looking for. Ruth's friends gasped as she picked up the dust-covered drum. "Let them hear us," she whispered. Then she started beating the drum, louder and faster than ever before. Her friends opened all the windows, letting the beats reach every corner of the village. People opened their doors and stepped out. They stood in the dark, listening, and then, quietly, they began to pray. They were remembering. The next morning, the chief summoned the man with the flutes, along with the villagers of Tula. "We welcome new friends," he said. "Your flute has its own beauty, but the drum is the voice of our ancestors, the heartbeat of Tula's stories, prayers, and history. It cannot be silenced." He continued, "True harmony comes when every voice is heard and respected, and trust is restored among all people in Tula. Tonight the drums will play," he decreed. Ruth and her friends ran to pull their drums out of hiding. Evening prayers began with a familiar deep, steady beat. Children began to stomp their feet and villagers came together, smiling once again. Some of the visitors became upset. They took their flutes and stomped away angrily. But others stayed. "You were right," they said. "Your drums are beautiful. We didn't understand before." Softly, the small band of flutes joined in, waving their light, dancing notes above the rhythm. The sound was richer, fuller, like the ocean and the wind speaking at the same time. From that day, the drums and flutes played peacefully together side by side. The villagers shared their traditional rhythms, and the visitors shared their melodies, and together they learned that respecting each other's way made the island song more beautiful and stronger than ever before.